Hello, everyone. My name is Angela Zabel. I am a teacher, coach, and medium, and today we are here with Edge Talk Radio, and we're going to be talking to Amy Robeson. We're talking about the prosperous path, and she is a business strategist with so much more, and I can't wait to get into it. So, who am I? My name is Angela Zabel. I am a teacher, coach, medium. I have been working with messages from a multitude of realms with my entire life. I am also a radio show host, writer, retreat host, gallery reader, doing speaking engagements, and I also offer guidance, mediumship, intuition with online group and private sessions, also classes, and the Amplified Universe monthly membership, growing our connection to us, our world, and our role in it. You can find out more about me at angelazabel.com and pretty much on all the social media aspects. And today, I'm going to try to get this straight here. We are here with Edge Talk Radio. Edge Magazine is a leading events and media resource dedicated to all aspects of holistic living, health, and wellness, and the mysteries beyond, sharing information, wisdom, and resources committed in promoting businesses, organizations, and individuals who support our collective journey to wholeness and balance. Currently distributed in 30 states plus Canada, with over 17,000 magazines per printing. They have a vibrant online magazine with over 42,000 people reached per month. You can have the magazine shipped to your door, stay up to date with the newsletter, become a drop spot. And you can check out Kelly Wagner on the Being Curious show, also on Edge Magazine. And you can find out more about that at edgemagazine.net. And today we are here with Amy Robeson. She is not only a gifted healer, she is a beacon of transformation, guiding conscious entrepreneurs on a journey of aligning their businesses with their spiritual values. With a thriving global community, Amy possesses a unique ability to seamlessly merge powerful healing techniques with proven business strategies, resulting in businesses that are not only successful, but also deeply aligned and prosperous. Amy has a marketing and business degree, certifications. She's a meditation teacher, master, Akashic record instructor, Reiki instructor, life coach, crystal teacher, Tantra, and I'm going to try to get this right, Ayurveda yoga teacher. Hopefully, I got it close. She mentors students worldwide. Make sure to check her out. And she also has a brand new movie coming out. It is called Zero Limits, which she was working with ones that were also part of The Secret. You want to check this out. And also, her website is amyrobeson.com. I'm going to spell it, but it's also going to be
It's
in the link.
theamyrobeson.com.
Amy Robeson. Oh, that's right. TheAmyRobeson.com. It is TheAmyRobeson.com. She also has some free gifts for you. And also check her out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and so much more. You don't want to miss it. And check out her new movie, Zero Limits. So, Amy, I am so happy to have you here today. I just gotta say, you've been all over the place. When you talk about prosperous, you have been not only making yourself prosperous, but so many others. And now you're helping more even with your new movie. Can you explain a little bit? First, thank you for being here. And then how in the world did you move from all the business and masters into more of this soul-aligned aspect?
Yeah, so thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And um, I I've always been able to play in both worlds really easily. Growing up, my like very first memory was from when I was one. And so my grandma was a tarot card reader, astrology reader. I learned how to do tarot when I was 7. I've played in both worlds my whole life, and even when I was like going to get my first job, I told one of my friends, I want to do what, those guys do at Best Buy. And he's like, sales? I was like, yeah, that's it. I want to do that. Like I didn't even know the word for it. And it's because I just like talking to people and I thought it was really fun to do. And I think that for spiritual entrepreneurs, sometimes their biggest downfall is they don't want to be salesy. They don't know what it really looks like to have a successful business because of some of the lies they've been told, either by society or by themselves. Like they've been told these lies to themselves. And so it's like we can be prosperous as spiritual entrepreneurs. And I think that that's really important to emphasize. We don't live in the times where the village healer was taken care of by the community. So let me say that slightly different. Back in the day, the village healer would be given goats and chicken and food and all sorts of different things that weren't necessarily money, but it was an exchange of energy. Whatever they could provide, whatever that person could provide was good enough. Well, we live in a time where that doesn't really work anymore because we can connect with people globally, but there still has to be some sort of energy exchange. And sales is not a dirty word. Sales is a necessary component to have a successful business. And I don't care what anybody says, everybody wants to be sold to in the right way. Not pushy, not gimmicky, but everybody, if they're buying something, they want to know that that person has their back, that that product is going to serve their need. They want to feel good about their purchase. And so what has to be done? Sales and marketing. We have to market it the proper way and we have to sell it the proper way. And so selling is as simple as having a conversation with a friend over tea or coffee. That's the essential aspects of what sales are, but people have this big fear of it, and it has to be done in a way that's classy, in a
Yeah.
way that feels good, in a way that has integrity, in a way that provides value and conviction, and so many other things. But like for me, I started off as someone that was always tapped in as a kid, but also, like my first job was waitressing. My second job was selling shoes on straight commission. And so I've always done sales in some degree my entire um, life since I could get a job. And I was really good at selling my parents on certain things. Like I could talk to them about
What's
things. And it's not about being naturally good at sales. It's about having the confidence in what you're offering to make the offer because you're doing your community a disservice if you don't make the offer.
That's really important, having the confidence in what you're offering, because there's a lot of people. I've met some amazing people with amazing gifts, what they're offering, but they don't have confidence in their own gifts and the value of what they're giving. And as you've done sales, I mean, I could tell you're just a natural saleswoman. But are there something that you can help people who maybe aren't natural
Yes,
salespeople?
yes, yes. So it's important that you have conviction.
Ah,
Conviction is key because if you don't have conviction in your product, and there's a difference when someone shows up and they're like, this is going to help you with XYZ. I'm so excited to share it with you. Let me talk to you about it versus, yeah, I have this thing that I
mm,
think you might be interested in. And let me tell you a little bit more about it. But their energy is collapsing. And there's a lot of power behind someone's voice. It's not about shouting, it's not about yelling, it's about the conviction you have when explaining something. And I worked in with insurance. I sold insurance. I basically sold the possibility of something going wrong
right.
before this career. And I did that for 10 years. And I remember one of my partners that I had in finance, and he's like, Amy, you have to have conviction. If you don't have conviction, you're not going to sell it. And I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, what does that actually mean? What that means is you believe in the product that you are offering. If you don't believe in the product that you're offering, what part of it do you not believe in? And with that, that will give you data on how to either shift your offer so you can have conviction
Mm,
or allow you to go, no, I really trust this, but why am I not describing it the way that I trust it and the way I act about it. So having that feedback of do I believe in this product? It doesn't mean you're 100% sure that it's the right price. You're not, it doesn't mean that you're 100% sure that it's going to work for that person if they don't do the work. And I want to emphasize that because you can't make someone do the work. They have to do the work. So that's why you can never guarantee something.
Yeah.
In the coaching industry. We can't guarantee it because I can't guarantee you're going to show up. I can
Right.
guarantee the methods that I use will get you results if you show up and you do the work. And so there's a drastic difference. Also, data is king. Like, data is queen. So, like, if you're not sure it's going to work for you, go collect data on doing that method with someone so that you understand if it does work or not. I've I have done so much data mining in my business. We have something new coming out. I've been doing past life regressions for a really long time, and I want to do a new method. So what did I do? Called up one of my friends. I was like, "Hey, I need you to show up. Do you want a healing?" She's like, "Yeah." I go, "Great. I'm not going to tell you anything about it." She goes, "Okay, I'm game," because I want data and I want to see what that is. And so you can collect data by offering a free thing, offering a free service, offering a free session, because it gives you feedback to
Mm.
what it is that you're receiving. And I also think that when it comes to like conviction, it's if you don't believe in it, who will?
Yes. That's something really true, because I mean, we've all experienced the people who are like, "Oh yeah, we got that for sale," or whatever, and they just kind of completely ignore you and just like, "Well, if you pick it up, you pick it up. If you don't, you don't." And you're like, "Is it? Does it work?" But you've talked to other people, and I'm sure everyone here, everyone listening, you talk to other people and they've talked to someone and they could feel the energy coming off of them. They could feel like they believe in themselves. They believe in what they're doing. And that's something you can't buy is the
Right.
conviction. You can't buy it. But it's also, I love the idea because there's a lot of people who, like you and I think both know people who are just so talented, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
believe in themselves. And so they can't sell themselves. I hate to use the word sell themselves, but in a way, sell yourself, sell your product, sell the product. You can't sell that if they don't believe in themselves enough. And it's
Right.
felt. It's felt. And that's something you have been doing. Is that also something, like you see people who have a lack of confidence, who have a lack of belief in themselves. And a lot of times I think it stems from a lack of belief in themselves. And then it kind of carries over into that product. And you also do Akashic Records, and you've been doing them for a very long time. Is that also something where somebody's saying, like, I really feel I have a really awesome product or a service, but I don't know how to bring myself. I feel like I want to bring myself small. Is that something you can do by going in the Akashic Records and helping them find
Yes.
that? And
Yes.
how does that work?
So, first, let me explain what the Akashic Records are for anybody that doesn't know what they are. The Akashic Records is basically a database of your soul. Every word, deed, thought from the moment your soul is incepted is recorded in the Akashic field. And we can open up the records to receive love, guidance, and support in any and all areas of our life without judgment. And so the cool thing about the Akashic Records is you can utilize them for anything, the past, the present, and the future. And so for me, when I when I started my business, I didn't know that I would actually be teaching the records.
Mm.
I didn't know that that would be the thing that would be the most the gravitational pull towards me, like in terms
Right.
of my business, because I just kept having people ask me over and over and over and over again, like, can you teach me this? Can you teach me this? Can you teach me this? And so I'll say this and then I'll add more to it. I think that the Akashic Records is one of the most amazing business tools you can have in your toolbox. But it's not only the most amazing business tool, it is the most amazing life tool in your toolbox. And the reason for that is one, I built my entire business using the Akashic Records. And then
Mhm.
I would go and I would spend a ton of money on these high-end masterminds for them to tell me exactly a strategy I had already implemented years before that the guardians gave me. And so that's the cool thing about the records is they fold time and they share information with you based on that moment in time, based on what you're asking, based on what your needs are. Because you can also go in the records and go, I want to start a business, and then you don't start taking the steps to starting the business. They'll work with you on why are you not starting the business, because it might be a worthy thing. It might be like you don't want to be seen. It might be that you have some other underlining fears that you're so unconscious of that you keep sabotaging yourself, because starting a business is a really big deal. And then
Yes.
being in your business is a really big deal. I remember talking to my friends forever and ever, like, I'm going to start a business one day. I'm going to do this one day. I'm going to do this one day. And finally, I got so sick of hearing myself say it. I remember going to work and I was talking to my friend and I was like, all right, I'm giving myself a deadline. I'm doing it. I'm doing it in 2 years. And so, we all have these fears, and we just sometimes it's just like, I know I want to help someone, but like, what does that look like? We'll start studying and you'll know what it looks like. There's things that we can do that help us. So in terms of the business, the Akashic Records, the Guardians will help you identify what your business is, help you identify structuring it, help you identify the fears that you have, help you overcome the fears that you have. And it's one of the most amazing tools. And again, when I say I built my entire business using the records, I did, and I'm so grateful for them.
That's something really key is knowing, like you said, a lot of people, you want to start a business, but it's a big animal. It is huge, a huge undertaking, and belief in yourself. You have to sell yourself on it too because you want to do it, but that means there's a lot more to it. And for people who are, their own business owner, and it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, and it's knowing it gets overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to tackle that whole thing? But also it goes into the self-worth because like you had talked about beliefs before, so many businesses fail. You're hearing all those beliefs and it takes so much to get it going, and it takes you're hearing all the words of why you can't do it. And that's why going into the Akashic was something that you could go into and go, okay, what's holding me back? And it is. There's a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of people, I'm sure you do too, where they're afraid to be seen. They're
Oh, it's a
afraid.
huge fear.
It's huge to be seen because, I mean, honestly, what you do, what I do, what others do, and in the spiritual realm of businesses, a lot of times isn't looked at as so conventional, and
Hmm.
you're afraid to be seen with that. But as you've been going through the Akashic Record, was that also, you've been one that's really been out there, I feel, for a very long time since you were young. Like you're just gonna go and do it. But as you started going to the Akashic Records, did you also discover things about yourself you really didn't realize were there, different fears that you didn't realize were there?
Yeah, so let me first say, I had a massive fear of public speaking. I had a
Mm.
massive fear of showing up on video. My grandma was a photographer and she would take photos, and I would never let her take my photo. Not because like I didn't want my photo taken, I was just like hiding because there was just something really raw in the way she would capture a thing. And so sometimes people, when they hear me, they're like, wait, you didn't want to do a live, you were scared to come up on video? Absolutely, I was terrified. Also, another fear is, and I think this is a very true fear for a lot of people, I was scared that I was going to lose all my income because
Yes.
I had already had an established lucrative career that I'm like, if I leave this, what is the comfort of, like, what am I going to do if I don't make that money? And so, one, I'll talk to that fear first. I just said, so what? Because
That's
my happiness is more important. And if I only make half or one third of what I was making, I will make that work because I am at least happy. I'm at least doing the thing that I want to do. So the second I let that go, I had the freedom to actually step into my business properly. And for any of you that are in your business right now and you still have that fear, let it go. It's not, you're not telling the universe you're only allowed to make that amount of money. It's just letting the grip and the anxious energy and the what ifs, because all of that's being sent out to the universe and your vibration will simply change. In the first discovery call I went on and I sold my very first coaching package, I was like, oh my God, this is nothing like I was expecting. I had all these fears and they're not true.
mm,
And I can do this. Like I totally can do this. And so like my money ceiling of went from so what to really low to no, I can totally replace my income and it's totally okay. And I replaced all of my income in 13 months going full time in my
wow.
business. So and it wasn't until the 13th month that I replaced it. And so there's that thing right there. And then I'll go back to you asked me like what were some of the fears. Well, one of the fears, because I put money in my account to allow myself
Mm,
to build my business, and so one of the fears. Oh, let me back up for a second. One of my fears was a fear of public speaking,
yeah.
and so years before that, I decided that I was going to start teaching yoga. And was it going to replace my career income? Absolutely not. If I could tell people, stand in front of a room of 30 plus people, or 15 people, or five people, whatever, and tell them how to breathe and touch their toes and move their body at the same time, I could totally stand in front of them on stage. And so I was fascinated with yoga to begin with. And so it's not the most conventional way to get over your fear of public speaking, but it was a dual purpose. One is it was more than a dual purpose, but one was I loved yoga and it was a way that I could learn more about it. It was the thing that assisted me in getting out of my depression. And it was a way to study and it was a way to get over my fear of public speaking. And it was also an option to have additional money coming in
Mm.
when I chose to leave my career and build my business. And at that time, I didn't even know that it was going to be a coaching business. I didn't know, have zero clue what it was going to be, but I just knew that I was going to be speaking one day and that I was going to make money on Facebook one day. That was the only thing I knew.
That's really important to know though, because I mean, honestly, and I'm sure even now, you said you had something new coming in. When something new comes in, you have somebody to get a hold of somebody and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, I want to practice on you." We don't know exactly what's going to be next. We don't know. And it's going in and trusting and then going, okay, if I don't know what it is, what skills am I going to need? And that was genius on your part, but also for other people to look at it. It doesn't mean you have to take a public speaking class, but it means to go, okay, if I want to speak in front of people, how can I do that? How can I practice it
Mm-hmm.
now? Maybe it's getting in front of even your family and putting a little skit on and playing the roles and playing the parts just so you can get comfortable. And I love the fact that you said you don't have to do it the conventional way, but be unconventional in your thinking and just go, what makes sense for me? Because we're all
Yes.
different. We're all
Yeah.
different. And that's something I love that you help with also by going into the Akashic Records. You're helping them find the differences and what works for them. And as you've done that for yourself, have you, by using the Akashic Records, have you changed maybe what you thought you were going to do or how you were going to do it by maybe clarifying it or changing a direction on it?
Yeah, actually, let me go back to you asked me if there was a fear that came up. And there
Yes.
was a fear, and then it'll tie back into what you just asked me too. So when I started my business, I had some money put aside in savings. There's different categories of people. You're either you're working in whatever your career is, and then you're doing your business part-time. There's nothing wrong with that. That works for some people. Some people is you got to be all in. Like I got to work in my business 100% and I go no part-time job or no full-time job. So I was in that category because I knew that the type of career that I had, that no matter what, even if they considered it part-time, it was still a minimum of 40 hours a week. And
Right.
so it was not going to allow me to do what I wanted to do. And there is no right or wrong. And I've gotten messages from the guardians to tell people you need to keep your job and work on this
Yeah.
part time, or you're going to want to set a date to when you quit your job. Whatever it is, like there's tons of ways that you can do it. So for me, I had money in the bank. I was working in my business full time, and I was getting married also that year. And there was just a lot of unseens, unknowns, fears, things like that. And so towards the end of the year, I was noticing that my money kept going down and down and down and down. And like, that's scary. Like, you got
Yes.
money set aside and you don't got enough money coming in, and you're just like, how am I going to pay my bills? What does that look like? Trying not to be nervous about it, taking budget cuts on different things just to make it work. And so I had to lean into the records. Like, what am I
Mhm.
not seeing? What is a fear? What is a pattern? Why is this happening? Tell me more about it. And what they shared with me was there's an unconscious belief that if I make a major transition in my life, I have to go down to $0 in my account in order to break free from that position that I was in before. And this all stemmed when my mom divorced my stepdad, and I convinced her to leave, and I gave her all of my money to leave so we could be safe. And
Uh,
I saved all my money that summer. And so there was this subconscious pattern that developed. And that's fine when you're a teenager, but when you're an adult, you do not want your bank account to go down to $0. And they
right.
showed me like I transitioned from one career to the next in my 20s, and it what happened? My account went down to zero. And so there's this pattern, and I'm like, I am not doing that again. Like that is not a good pattern to have. That's a stressful pattern. So we I looked at it. The guardians helped me look at it. We healed it, and we broke free from that pattern. And they identified it really easily because it was so subconscious. I would have never figured that out without them helping me to connect the dots of what that was.
That's something really important though, because I feel that's a it may not be the exact situation you went through, but I feel for people in general, that is a very real pattern because a lot of people, well, if you start a business, you're not going to have anything. If you change jobs, you're not going to have anything. You're going to lose everything by doing this major life shift. I think that's also there's a pattern in a lot of people, not the exact same situation, but the same type of pattern and really to look at it and see it. I'm just going to share a long time ago, there was a pattern in our lives where it was like made a lot of money and then it kind of went down. And then we make a lot of
Yes.
money and then it go down. It was like this whole up and down. And it's like, I don't want that anymore. I want it to be able to continue to just keep growing. So it was more of just recognizing it and going, I think it was a belief we were holding, like you can't hold money. And then it was looking at that belief and changing it and going, no, we can hold money and grow money. And that has made a huge difference. But it was recognizing the belief. And that's with you, with the Akashic Records, you can help people recognize those beliefs. A lot of times it's happening, but you don't know why. And to
Yeah.
find that, that's so key. And I'm so glad you found yours because you helping so many people find what's holding them back. And I keep hearing my team is just saying it isn't always necessarily what's holding them back, but a belief that they've been holding. And
Absolutely.
that's so key as you go forward. And you've been changing so much. And my team just wants me to go back to the time where you recognized that belief and then just also took your business and started growing and started growing and started changing that. Because honestly, a lot of times, like you had said at the beginning, okay, if I'm going to make this leap, I know I may not make what I was making before to start. And it's also that belief going, okay, but I can grow it from there. It's changing all those beliefs along the way. And you were lucky enough to tap into your own team, your own, and going into your own Akashic records. How do you help people find their Akashic records so they can go into it? Because you said you're teaching that also,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. So I teach a program called Sacred Awakening, and I've been teaching the program since 2017. And what you learn is how to open the records for yourself, get answers on demand for yourself, and then how to give readings to others and open other people's records. Sometimes I have students that are like, I want to learn that so I can have that as a part of my business. I have some people that are like, I just want to learn it for myself. But I never separate the two because oftentimes it's easier for us to give to others than it is to give to ourselves. And
Yes.
so you get the contrast between the two experiences so that one, when you start doing it for someone else, you actually understand how you're doing it for yourself. And it's really, really cool to see and witness and see your confidence grow and things like that. So I teach that. We have like it's called the Soul Evolution Masters Class Series Extravaganza. We do that twice a year. That the first time of the year it's usually in February, and then the second time of year it's usually September, October time.
Perfect. And that's something that, a lot of people are looking for answers for themselves and really diving into who am I? How do I operate?
Yes.
This is really our operating system. We have computers with all the operating systems. We're checking into our own operating system so many times.
Yes. And the records is really cool because what you're doing is you're tapping into who you are,
Mhm.
and they take into consideration your entire soul's journey, not just that moment in time, not just that situation, but everything about your soul. And then they answer it from that place. And it's up to you if you want to take the advice or not take the advice. And the cool part is too, the the guardians are assisting you in having a self-discovery because
Yeah.
this is what we're here to do. We're here to discover things about ourselves so we can evolve. It's that simple.
Love that. Love that. And that's what it's all about. It's evolving. And it's all of us. You're about prosperity, helping people be prosperous. And, even working, have you found, I just want to say, have you found, as you're helping people just work through things that unconscious beliefs they've had, how that actually opens them up for more prosperity in their life?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really neat to see and witness. We do a survey once a year, and then I stopped doing the survey because the answer was always the same. Like, if people could vote on like a type of healing that they could have that I would give them for free, it's always prosperity and abundance.
Oh, interesting.
And so when we're talking about prosperity, some people instantly go to money, and yes, that's part of it. But to be prosperous and to be abundant goes beyond just the money itself, because some of the richest people may not have a lot of money, but they're rich in life, they're rich in experiences. And so, what does that look like? And when we also start working on ourselves, our ancestral lineage starts to heal itself too. So, if you start making more money, there's an energetic opportunity for your siblings or other people in your family to start making more money as well, which is kind of cool to see and to witness. Because some people, they have a belief that there's several things, and this is for people that make a lot of money. This is for people that make little money. There's this belief, and it's a strong belief that if I start making more money fill in the blank. XYZ will happen. This will happen. That will happen. Da 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 da. So there's this energetic ceiling. And I remember walking with my husband one day and we were talking and he threw out a number of income to be made. And I was like, in my body, I was like, oh, I can never make that. And then I
Mhm.
found it really interesting because my entire life I've been really good at making money. Like I remember my sisters and I we would play different games, house, and we would play I would play the banker when I was a kid.
Go figure.
And I would always like there was this energetic thing that I was like, I'm always going to have money. Like I grew up poor. My mom was poor. My mom worked her butt off. Like she had um, us kids when she was 17, 19, and 23. She had to go back and get her GED. She had to teach herself how to read. Like it's a lot. And
Yeah.
so my mom was not a victim of her circumstance. She was very prosperous in the way that she thought that also played into myself and my siblings. And so, there's always a solution to every problem. And the solution might not be what you want it to be, but there is a solution to the problem. And when we give ourselves permission to get creative, to think outside the box, to actually feel worthy or receive more or what have you, we can experience what I call is next level worthiness. Like, what is your next level worthiness? And can you give yourself permission to receive that? And I just got done teaching, we just did our live Sacred Awakening live retreat.
Mm.
And I do this once a year. It's an annual retreat just for our Akashic Records students. And because the Zero Limits movie has come out, and that was the theme of what that looked like. And the Guardians, they were talking to me about I was working on a pattern, and so I'm like, what pattern am I working on? Da 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 da. This was before the retreat, and they're like, next level worthiness. That's what you're working on. And if
Mm.
you beat me, you're like, but you feel worthy, like you have this success, but where am I putting the limits on that success?
Yes.
Where are you putting the limits on that success? Because there's other things that you want that you might be too afraid to admit, or what I call it's like you take the long way around to tiptoe around the thing that you want. And so when they sat there and told me that, I was like, okay, so then what do I truly want? Because clearly, like, I'm doing all these things that just because you're good at it doesn't mean you're still in alignment with it.
Yeah.
And it's really important to understand that because my previous career, I was really good at it. Doesn't mean I was in alignment with it anymore because
Yeah.
it wasn't something I wanted to do for life.
Yes.
And so for this, I'm like, what do I want? And then I proclaimed what I wanted. And like less than a week later, I got a phone call asking if I wanted to participate in something that had to do with that. I'm like, this is what happens when you make way and declare this is what I want. And you stop tiptoeing around it and you declare it because then the universe goes, oh, he is serious.
Yeah.
They're serious now. Okay, let's start making that happen because it's the law of vibration. It's the law of cause and effect. If you proclaim it and you truly own it and you're not sitting there hemming and hawing, going back and forth, second guessing yourself, the universe is going to make way for whatever the next step is towards that thing. Doesn't might not be the full exact thing right away. Just depends on where you're at in your journey and what other things you've done to get there.
That's really important for people to know that I love what you said. Just because you were good at it before doesn't mean you're still in alignment with it now. That's important because you're seeing, and especially now, I know you're in tune with the energy. Energy is shifting, and people are making different choices now than they ever have before. They can be in relationships. They can be in jobs for years and years and years and years. And all of a sudden, you're seeing these huge changes in people's lives as they're shifting out of that energy because it no longer aligns with them. Worked perfectly before, but
Yeah.
now it doesn't. And then also that ceiling, you don't realize you're putting that monetary ceiling on you. And I've discovered it myself. It's like you'd look at something and go, "Oh, that's good," but somebody else will get it, but I don't think I could get it. And you're like, "Wait, why not?" Why am I putting that number on it? And a lot of times you don't even realize it. And I love how you had brought up, how will that change things around me? Because a lot of times you look at if I make a certain amount of money, does that mean all my relationships change around me? And am I willing to have those relationships change?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
it's fearful for a lot of people.
It's also interesting too, if you want to think about it from this perspective, because this is very subconscious to some people, is what are your thoughts when you're looking at something you want to purchase
Yeah.
and you're telling yourself you can't afford it? Like, what thought is actually the damaging thought? And I was talking to someone that wanted a very expensive, we have crystals that we always offer as upgrades and things like
Oh,
that. And I've been getting into higher end crystals because there are just some things that I'm like, I got like these are so beautiful.
yep.
And I've been collecting crystals since I was a kid. And so she's like, I really want this crystal. And it was like over $1,000 crystal.
Yeah.
And she goes, I know I'll make money one day and I can afford it one day. And I go,
Mm.
right now your mindset, and this wasn't to push her or persuade her into purchasing the crystal. It was to create an opportunity to see where the mindset was. Because the
Yes.
mindset is what we're looking at. And I go, right now, you're working on $100 problems.
Mm.
One day, like this right now is $1,000 problem. One day
Right.
you're going to be like trying to figure out a $20,000 problem. But
Yeah.
if you don't think that you're capable of figuring out a $20,000 problem or $1,000 problem, your ceiling's always going to be the same.
Mm. That's really important to know because that's something people I don't think far enough ahead to look at, okay, take the overwhelming feeling of that's too big for me and
Mm-hmm.
removing that ceiling. Like you said, is it a $20 problem? Is it a $20,000 problem? Do you look at the problems as the same or do you give it so much more credence on that $20,000 problem, which in turn it stops your growth?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't think you can get there. And that's something as you go forward, you're helping so many people move past that to say, oh, I can get there. I can get there. And that's also the abundance and prosperity is the feeling of I can do it. That's
Yeah.
prosperity in a huge amount. And having people around you that believe in you also, along with you.
Yeah.
And you talked about the new movie you have, Zero Limits. Can you explain and kind of go
Yeah.
into that a little
Yeah.
bit more? And how did that come about as you have been prosperous creating that?
Yeah, so the movie is with Joe Vitale. Joe Vitale was in The Secret. The Secrets came out in the early 2000s, which was all about the law of attraction. It
Yep.
was a big hit. They came out with a documentary, they came out with the movie. And so his career drastically changed from that project. And so he ended up working with a psychologist, doctor that was working with the Ho'oponopono prayer. Joe Vitale allowed and assisted in bringing out the Ho'oponopono prayer mainstream. And
Can you
what,
explain what that is for people who don't know?
yes. So it's the Hawaiian prayer, which is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. What that does is it brings you back to zero. And the psychologist, he worked in a mental jail institution where these were inmates that were Um, they were certifiably insane
Mhm.
and they had massive turnover. The inmates were not getting better, massive turnover with staff. And so the doctor went in and he would just do the Ho'oponopono prayer. He never saw the clients. He never worked with them individually, and everybody started getting better. And Joe ended up hearing about this doctor and he wanted to know what that was. And so he hired a private detective because he wanted to learn about what this is. So they end up working together. They end up writing a book together called Zero Limits. And so the movie, the premise of the movie, the documentary is, are there any limits? What does it look like to live at zero limits? So Joe interviews different experts, and I'm one of the experts in the movie
Nice.
on what does that look like. And you get a wide variety and a range of what zero limits is because we're not all the same person, we're not all the same energy, we don't have the same interest. And so you get all these different experts on what their definition of what living at zero limits are, and the
Mhm.
cast is from all around the world, which is really cool. And so I think it's neat to see and to witness. And so the world premiere. It's streaming on Apple and on Prime September 25th,
Nice.
2025. And it's just I'm super excited about the project and um it like I saw Joe, I read the book The Secret, so I never recognized his face, and he popped up on my news feed just randomly one day many years ago, and I got this download, I'm going to work with him one day. Like, I knew it in my heart. And so when this project came across my desk, I was like, that's the person. I remember him because he just has this he's in his 70s and he is a master marketer, and he's been doing this and creating success in his coaching business for a really long time. And I didn't know anything about that when I saw him. I just knew that I would work with him one day. And so when I saw that that was what the project was, I knew I was in complete alignment with it because I got the download. I let the download go because I knew it wasn't anything for me to do. And I just, when it came across my desk, I was like, yep, I'm doing that. That is exactly what I'm doing. I already know what I'm doing and I'm going to run with it because I think this is a mission for um, a movement where we get to show people, like, if you're in a dark place, there is opportunity for you to live your best life, and so you get to make that choice. And so it's a really amazing documentary. It's done very, very well. And I can make sure I give you the link to,
Yes.
or you guys can find it on Apple and Prime. But I'll also give you my link. So if you want to go directly to the website to watch it, you can as well.
Perfect. And that's so important because we are moving into a time and of going into the limits are being taken off. We are losing the limits we have put upon ourselves, put upon society. We are changing all of that. I love that you were a part of that and this big movement and bringing that out to so many more people. And I can't wait to watch it and see because I've watched The Secret and that was such a good movie and such a good documentary. I've read the book. And then to be able to have this as kind of a spin-off of going to the next direction. And as you were doing that, and my team is just saying they want to bring up, you knew how long ago that you were going to be working with Joe. And then you didn't know when, you didn't know how it was going to come out. You didn't know how to create that moment. But just knowing it and knowing the universe, when you put that out there, when you put that energy of prosperity and knowledge and trust in yourself, how you brought it back to yourself and you were ready for it when it came and knew exactly what you wanted to do. It doesn't always happen in the moment. It's just knowing it's going to be there for you. And
Yes.
that's something for other people. Like other people may be looking at that and going, well, I would have been maybe depressed or trying to figure out like what's wrong with me that I didn't bring it in earlier. Why is it not happening? I feel it. Am I looking at it wrong? Did I get that information wrong? How did you go through that, or did it bother you, or did you just kind of like know along the way it was going to happen?
I literally never thought about it again. And
Interesting.
it's really important that some things are just left as a download,
Mm.
and the how and the when will work itself out. So like I knew in that moment it was just this knowing I'm gonna work with him one day, and then I let it go. I didn't go stalk him on his website. I didn't look at his website. I didn't even click on the button. Like he had an ad and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna work with him one day. Scroll, swipe. Like, I did not touch it. And but then there are times where you got this knowing, but there's this momentum of investigation. There's this momentum of exploration. And so you just want to be curious about what that is. And it's really important to let go of the how, because what's important is that you take action steps for it. And sometimes the action step is to allow the universe to bring it to you when it's ready. Sometimes the action step is to do a little research. Sometimes the action step may be, um, I want to start this business. What am I interested in? Because I don't even know what I'm interested in. So why don't I start studying something? What do I want to study? And like for me, that was yoga, and then it was meditation, and then it was dream interpretation. And like I went down these list of things, not knowing what I was going to use them for, but just what am I interested in? Because I want to be studying something that I find interesting, even though I don't know what I'm doing with it.
That's really important for people to realize when you don't quite know what you're going to do, and even if you do know, but you don't quite know how to get there, whatever action step, whatever makes it feel good to you, you're interested in, and you just keep following that path, it's going to get you where you need to be. And I love how you said then just kind of let it go. Let it
Yeah.
go and just know, but know you're going to move yourself into that. And that's as we're going into this next phase, so into this next phase of energy, are you suggesting to people, or is there something new you're doing, or something you can help people with moving into the next phase of energy? And what does that look like to you? What is the next phase? What do you feel
I think
as
the
far as
next,
energy with the world and people prosperity?
yeah, so it's understanding you are your own authority, and not
Mm,
not this I am man, I am woman, hear me roar kind of feeling. It's I am me. And I am
uh,
the authority of what my life looks like. I'm not handing that over to anybody. And I'm definitely not handing it over to spirit either. And I want to say that with great emphasis, because sometimes people give their power away to spirit, they give their power away to creation, God, universe. And so if you're unclear of what you actually want and you're just like, yeah, let me take me anywhere, I don't care, you're actually setting yourself up for a miserable time, because what's happening is the universe is dictating, oh, you don't know what you want? Let's throw out all these different things at you to make you even more confused because you're confused. And let's reiterate that feeling. Let's ingrain that feeling even more. And it's not that they have an agenda of I need to be mean or I need to be this. Energy is just energy. And so if you're not taking authoritative action in your own life, you're
yes.
never going to receive that. You got to take action of your own life. And it's telling spirit, I want this. This is what I'm wanting to do next. Doesn't mean that spirit's not going to give you a download. Doesn't mean spirit's not going to let you in on things that you said you wanted to achieve in this lifetime, because they're always taking that into consideration. But
Yes.
if you are done with the lesson, be done with the lesson. Like literally be done with the lesson. And so there's that component. The other component is time is speeding up very fast, so get used to it.
Yes. Oh,
Like, don't fight it. Like, just get used to it. And what I mean by that is, um, instead of fighting the technology and fighting
mm,
different things, know what your values are, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, but don't let technology leave you behind because we are advancing very, very quickly. And we have tools now that can assist us in our business and assist us in all these different things. And so utilize them to where you feel comfortable utilizing them. But also, just because you're getting comfortable with technology doesn't mean your spiritual technology goes to the wayside. And
Yes.
so, this is where going inward is more important. This is where spending time in nature is more important. This is where having community is more important. Like, these are all things that are very important and crucial for us to evolve and to have in our life. Being a loner on the side of a mountain, hiding away as a hermit is not why you chose to be here at this time. So let that go. Let that go and just trust that there are um, there are reasons why you're here at this moment in time, and technology is speeding up. So just you gotta stay with the ebbs and the flows of what that looks like. Doesn't mean you 100% agree with it all. Doesn't mean you're gonna go get a chip in your brain.
Right.
Doesn't mean any of that. What it means is there are reasons why you're here. Why are you here?
And I love the fact too, where you said keeping up with technology, because technology is here with us. We're here to use it in tandem. It doesn't have to be something fearful made out to be so bad. There's a lot of beautiful aspects you can use technology for. It's how are you going to use it as an individual is so important. And I think we're both kind of also talking about AI, so we can bring
Mhm.
that in here, is saying there are wonderful aspects. It's here to help us to make our lives easier so we can create even more things, not create less things, and to help people. And my team is just saying a lot of people feel very disconnected now. So sometimes it's helping to feel that connection between us for the time being until you can connect with an actual human again and to have that human touch where they can lead you where you need to be. And they're saying not necessarily lead where you can find where you need to go.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because just
Yeah.
as you said, this isn't a time to just spirit's going to take the wheel. They're going to take care of everything. We just sit back and and let it go. It's to be in the driver's seat with all of this and to enjoy it and to
Yeah.
find the fun in it. And I mean, and as far as like people in businesses, would you encourage people to use that AI as best they can to move their business where they need it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're just starting your business, it's really important not to just write copy on AI. Like
Right.
you need to understand your voice, you need to work on the copy yourself, and then you can use AI to spruce it up. But I would
Yes.
not just write all your copy on AI. And I'm so grateful that I didn't have AI in the beginning of my business because I know for a fact I would have utilized it and my voice wouldn't have been in there and I wouldn't have understood what I was actually trying to say.
Right.
And so I think understanding what your message is first and your mission, you can use AI to ask you questions. You can use AI to uncover different things like likes and things like that. But I would not AI is a tool to assist. It's not a tool to do it all. And
Yeah.
at this moment in time, there are going to be things that AI can do for us in our business that's going to replace other things. But like I I think it's such an amazing tool to have right now, and it's changing rapidly. It changed faster than the maker ever thought it was going to change. And so he can't even predict what it's going to look like 5 years from now. Like, think about how much has changed since 2020 to
Oh,
2025. Like, it is insane. Like, it's insane. Then we go all the way back to even early 2000s. Like,
yeah.
so much has changed. And if you're craving that slower pace, you can have that slower pace. That's the cool thing about it. Like, you don't have to be on your phone all day. Get off your phone. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to be on a screen all day. Get off your screen. Like li give yourself permission to listen to what your body and bodies are trying to tell you so that you can utilize the technology to its maximum capacity while still honoring your physical body and its physical um, primal way of working because your physical body is so primal. And then giving yourself permission to live your dreams because you can live your dreams and still take care of the body that you were given and even the challenges that you were gifted with as well because we're all gifted with challenges with our physical body or our health or whatever it is that we were gifted with is because we're here to learn something and that's a part of your evolution and there's nothing wrong. I want to say this really, I think this is a really important message, especially for spiritual people. Just
Mm.
because you have something physically healthy going unhealthy going on in your body doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. Like
Yes.
our physical bodies are designed in a specific way based on when we were born, based on the genes that you want it to have, and based on where your soul is from. And so some of us have more health challenges than others, especially if your soul's essence isn't earth, which
You're right.
most of you listening to this, your soul essence is not earth. So sometimes we just have more health challenges, and that is a-okay. And
Yeah.
it's up to you to take that journey and give yourself permission to really heal what wants to be healed. And it's okay if another thing comes up. You just heal it as you go, and that's okay to do.
That's really important. I'm so glad you brought that up. My team is saying, yes, this is where it's the knowing. So many people, when you have a health problem, they're on this spiritual journey and they're saying, I shouldn't have any health problems. There should be nothing wrong with me. And they're saying, what am I doing wrong? And for you to let them know, you're not doing anything wrong. You're simulating, you're adjusting. You came in with things that you wanted to work through that on a conscious level, you didn't know. On
Yeah.
an unconscious level, your soul knows what it's doing. And to not look at that as a failure, like, what am I doing wrong? Just because I have some different health problems, unique health problems. And I like how you said, you're not all from Earth. I call them the star nations, the star universes. There is so much more out there. We are not all from the same place. Just as everybody here on Earth, we all look different. We all have different attributes inside on a soul level, on DNA level, we're also very different. That maybe hasn't all been discovered, but will be discovered, and some is being more discovered than others as we go forward. It's knowing there's so much more there. And my team is just also saying this is also a time to realize all the healing, all the changes that are being done here. You're not only doing this world, you're doing the Akashic Records, times before, times forwards, but also other universes are also being healed and raising in consciousness at the same time. This is a big, expansive time to be living with so many layers to it that we're still discovering. And you're helping people discover those layers and bring them through. And as you've been doing that, you're also helping people get more in tune with their own downloads, as you call them, the downloads, their own teams, their own everything that's theirs, specifically helping them move into that. And you do that by personal sessions, and you also do it with the other. So, what other aspects can people tap into to learn more about themselves, to learn from you, and what other things do you offer?
Yeah, so my main business is group online courses.
Mhm.
So I think that groups are helpful because we have the community part, and then we have in-person events as well. So we have an intimate retreat, and then we also have our big Sacred Awakening retreat that we do once a year. And then we also do like different self-study courses and it I don't do as many one-on-one sessions anymore just because I don't have the time to do it and
Right.
I podcast. So if you want to check out my podcast, it's Awakening with Amy Robeson. But you can also just check out my free stuff. I always have free stuff going on. So if you go to theamyrobeson.com/free, we have 20 plus free healings. You can see what our new master class is coming up, anything like that. And you can get signed up, which is awesome.
Awesome. I love that. And I'm encouraging everyone, go to her website, go check everything you have out there. And again, it's theamyrobeson.com. And those links will be down below. Check out her free healings. Check out, you've got so much on there. I was going on your website. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much to check out. But it's so good because by having those different aspects, it appeals to different people. Your soul will draw you to what you need. And a lot of people, they talk about getting stuck, how to move past getting stuck. A lot of times it's just listening and paying attention to yourself and like going on your website, what am I drawn to? What am I interested in? And you'll start opening yourself up to what exactly you need. And before we close, is there anything else you want to cover before we close for the day?
Now I just here, just trust yourself. Just trust. That's the most important. Trust yourself.
And that is so important. And it is trusting yourself, trusting your journey in this life too is you there you have what do you call them? I can't remember what you call them. Not a team. You're the people,
The
the
guardians of the
guardians.
records.
The guardians, yes. And knowing you have those guardians there to tap into them. And I love going on that group session. So a lot of people are a little nervous to do individual and to be there, to have that group aspect there is so helpful. So helpful. And Amy, I also there was a couple of other things. You have different courses. I'm just going to run through a few.
Sure.
And hopefully these are all up to date. I've got the Sacred Awakening, Light Language Magic, Sacred Crystal Awakening, Crystallization of Self, Meet Your Spirit Guides Masterclass, Meet Your Animal Spirit Guides Masterclass, Sacred Sales. Sacred Sales is awesome because a lot of times we look at it as, can it be spiritual when you're doing a sale? And absolutely. DNA Awakening Accelerator, Awakening Bundles, the Ascendant, and the Star Activation series are just some of what's on your
Yeah.
site. So I really encourage everyone to go and check that out. And I just keep hearing just a quick little niggle. We had talked just a little bit about crystals. What is your feeling on crystals and helping people on a soul level?
Yeah, so we're moving from carbon-based beings to crystalline beings. The way that I teach the Akashic Records, we use crystalline energy to open up the Akashic Records. There are three through lines in everything that I do, and that is the Akashic Records, crystalline energy, and light language. And so those three things, well, DNA too, but those three things are always going to be, if I'm teaching something that's not necessarily the Akashic Records, I'm still utilizing the Akashic Records. I'm still pulling in crystalline energy. I'm still bringing in light language. And so crystals are so important because they're little light beings that are here to help us and to support us in our soul's evolution, and they have steady energy. And so if you're attracted to a crystal, there's a reason for it. And so work with the crystals because they want to support us, they want to work with us.
I love that. I love that. There's so much out there that is working to help us right now, and knowing the crystals are there to help us too. So I'm encouraging people, and thank you again for that answer because my team was like, we need to talk about the crystals a little bit in there.
Yes. I love that.
So, Amy, I just want to thank you so much for being here. And I encourage everyone to go to her website, the amyrobeson.com, and that will be down below in the links. And also Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. There's so much out there. Go follow her. So much is there to be learned. And I just want to thank you again, Amy. Thank you so much for sharing your time, sharing your knowledge, sharing your heart. I appreciate it so much. I had so much fun today. And I also want to let everyone know, make sure to watch the next episodes of Edge Talk Radio. They are on the first and third Wednesdays of the month at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And no worries if you missed any of the podcasts or go on YouTube, you can go on the downloadable podcasts and pretty much all of them, like Apple Podcasts, all of the other ones out there. You can also go on my YouTube channel, Edge Magazine's YouTube channel, go to our websites, which will give you direct links to everything. But I just want to encourage everyone to check everything out. Not only here, all the others. This is the information for you to expand all of you, to raise all of your consciousness. And Amy is one of the amazing people that is here helping with that. And make sure to check out her new her new movie, and it's Zero Limits. Make sure you check it out, and I can't wait for all of you to do that. And with that, thank you all for joining, for listening, for expanding and amplifying our universe together. Thank you all and have an absolutely amazing day.